Hey everybody, welcome to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Mike Catalano along with Dan Fates. Please make sure to subscribe, like, and comment as we're here in sunny and beautiful Florida. I'm dressed a little more appropriately than you are.
I'm cold. It is chilly. It is 50 degrees, windy, cold, and rainy.
The weather is better.
New York
yes.
is better right now.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You know, you think you come down to Florida and it's a little nicer. It's not. The last time I was here was in January 2018. Very significant day in Bills franchise history.
When the drought ended, they actually broke the streak in Miami the week before in week 17, and then they had their first playoff game in 17 years in Jacksonville, right behind us.
Yeah, in this stadium, and that team, you know what that team was like. That team came in very happy to have made the playoffs and hoping maybe to do something, but that team was more about actually breaking the streak and going on. 8 guys on this roster that were here in 2018.
Yeah, that's it. The amount of turnover and the guys that are still here, instrumental to the development. Poyer, Hyde, Deion Dawkins, Matt Milano, guys that have really kind of been a part of this team.
Yeah.
The entire Sean McDermott era.
Yeah, Trey White, another one, his first draft pick. All right, let's get into what's going to happen in the game on Sunday. We've got 5 players we want to look at, and we'll start with a couple of guys on the Jags who I think, look, if they have a shot in this game, I think it's going to be running the football with James Robinson. He's a really talented guy, but he's coming off a heel injury.
Yeah, he's really talented. He's a guy that averages about 4 yards per carry. But if he's not even 100% right now, he's questionable to play as we are recording this now. Mike, I just don't see how there's any chance. He would have to have a massive game on a bad heel to really give the Jags a lift.
Yeah, this team struggles to move the ball offensively.
In general.
Yeah, when they do, Robinson has been really good. His backup is Carlos Hyde, a veteran guy who's been around the league a lot. But they need some dynamic play out of a running back if they're going to do it. And it's tough to be a running back in this league when your team does not pass the ball very effectively.
Well, and that goes to our next players as we're looking at Trevor Lawrence and Marvin Jones. Josh Allen knows what it's like to kind of not have a whole lot of weapons around him, and that's kind of what Trevor Lawrence is dealing with here in Jacksonville. A very young team, very raw. The difference is one of them has a real NFL head coach and the other one doesn't. But Mike, Marvin Jones has to be that big play guy for Jacksonville, and that's not really what he does.
No, he's been consistent for them. He's averaging about 5 catches a game, about 60 yards a game. Nice numbers if he's your third wide receiver, but he's number 1. And Trevor Lawrence is a talent, and I think he is going to be a good quarterback in this league. But you hinted at it just a moment ago. Pretty, boldly hinted at it. Not a real head coach. I'm not an Urban Meyer fan. I don't think there's a lot of Urban Meyer fans down here in Jacksonville.
No, and it's not only it's the drama, it's the way that the organization has been run. You look at the difference in head coaches, Mike. Sean McDermott, accountable, trustworthy, doesn't really say a whole lot. Actions-wise, all of those things. Urban Meyer has been the exact opposite. And you talked to somebody down here already that seems like he's already worn out his welcome.
Yeah, I think the way Chris Porter is a reporter here in Jacksonville, you can see that interview right here on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel, talked about how fans are already seeing what they thought Urban Meyer could be. Listen, fans down here knew Urban Meyer. He was at the University of Florida, right? He was that college coaching star, went to Ohio State. But he came here, got all the money, got everything he wanted, and the problem is this team, it's one thing to lack talent. There was a reason they had the number 1 pick.
Yes.
But they look disorganized and at times disinterested, and the truth is they just do not look well coached at all.
and that goes right down to it. I even look at, while the Detroit Lions are really struggling, they've at least competed in games.
Yeah.
They've shown fight. You haven't seen that from this Jacksonville team. I don't expect to see much of it on Sunday as this continues to unroll because people here in Jacksonville already kind of believe that Urban Meyer has 1 foot out the door and he's lasted 7 games.
Yeah, the Jags last year won their first game, didn't win another one. This year they have not won a game on the continent of North America.
Okay.
They won their 1 game in London against the Dolphins, so that should tell you something. Now let's start to focus a little bit on the Bills. And I would say the offensive line, Cody Ford, looks like he's going to be starting in this game.
Spencer Brown, John Feliciano, both out. Like, this feels like this is Cody Ford's last shot to get put in the lineup and hold on to a spot, or at least prove that he's a viable backup, because he has yo-yoed himself in and out of the lineup, in and out of playing good, playing bad, tackle to guard, everything in between. This kind of seems like one of the games one of the moments, because eventually we have a feeling, Spencer Brown will be back soon. He's got to show something.
Yeah, he does. And they've given Cody Ford chances at tackle, at guard. And I look at this offseason. If they'd have had more faith in Cody Ford, I don't think John Feliciano comes back. I think there's other moves that they don't make.
Yeah.
And so they keep giving him a chance, and he's got to prove something. He's a guy that a lot of guys on the team talk positively about. They want to see it. But this team needs interior offensive line help, and he's got to be ready for this.
Again, we talk about injuries and being lucky. Injury luck is a big thing about it. The Bills right now banged up, but it's a good time in a sense. If you're ever going to be banged up, we've joked around about how easy this Bills schedule is. This is a game where even Cody Ford should be able to kind of push around and maintain this Jags defensive line. So this is one of the ones, if Cody Ford struggles in this game, major concerns, Mike.
Yeah, I'm a believer, and I think you are too. In the offseason, I think there's an overhaul of the Bills' offensive line. I know some people, talk positively how they played against the Dolphins. I didn't see it that way because they cannot run the ball effectively, and they tried to in that Dolphins game. They don't get that push. I don't think they're built that way. And we'll move to the running game and talk a little bit about Zach Moss. I know you're in favor of, look, when you're going to run the ball, give it to Zach.
Look, I understand the days of having the one bell cow running back are over in the NFL. I understand that. But Zach Moss has better flow, better continuity, more versatile when he's on the field and his Bills offense seems to move. I thought he was the one that gave the Bills a boost in the second half with his screen game, great in blitz protection and pickup. As I've said before, I'm not a big fan, Mike, of running the ball, but the Bills are still going to run the ball 15 to 18 times a game. I want to see 13 of those carries go to Zach Moss and 3 to 4 go to Devin Singletary and not the other way around because they've really split 50-50 so far this season.
Do you think there's anything to knowing that they're going to need some sort of running game and really pushing for it during these games when you have Jacksonville and you have, the Jets next week and you say to yourself, look, unlike last week, I'm sure they wanted to build a lead and then maybe work on it, and they never really got there. Is there something to be said for trying to do that a little bit?
Well, I think there's moral victories and there's sentimental victories. If you can start pushing the ball around on a below average NFL team, I think you can say, okay, these are some things that have worked. The Bills found that out in the second half against Miami. They got blitzed, cover zero blitzes, which means there was no help to safeties, and they found ways to go around it. I asked Josh Allen, because Cole Beasley had said that game against Miami is not a game they want to be in, but there is good things that come out of it. So they learn how to adapt. It'd be nice to learn how to adapt to a running game and to at least have it. Again, I know you guys are run the ball. I think this is a game where Brian Dable can use something and then maybe be able to go back into the well in a time when needed and say, this is what we're going to use.
And in the passing game, I don't know if Beasley's going to play. We'll find out tomorrow. With the ribs, I'm going to guess he didn't practice. I don't know what the chances are of him playing. I'm going to highlight Gabe Davis. The guy plays a bunch of different positions. He's not been featured that much. He's come up with a couple of big plays for them. Do you see more of a role for Gabe coming, or do you think he's going to stay sort of like he's been?
I know people are very high on Gabe Davis. I haven't been one of them. I didn't think he had the strongest training camp like he did his rookie year when he really kind of burst onto the scene. There's so many weapons around him, maybe now, but again, if there's ever a time for him to step up and have a game, no Dawson Knox, a banged-up Cole Beasley, to which point you can say you don't want ribs to be lingering all season. Maybe this is, again, another time where you protect him from himself from playing because he got beat up in that Miami game. I go back to the fact that, Mike, you talked about in the offseason, the moves that are made. If they really liked Gabe Davis, I don't know if they go out and get Emmanuel Sanders. If they were ready for Gabe Davis to step up and be that number 2 guy, I'm not saying down the road he can't be that guy. Currently, he's not that guy.
Yeah, but they've always loved Emmanuel Sanders. They were going to let John Brown go. Maybe it's a combination of the two.
I agree.
You're right. If they were a little higher on Davis's ability to take the step, I think what they like about him is his versatility.
Absolutely.
And the idea that he can play in the slot, he can play on the outside, he blocks, he does all those things. But then there's the next step of being so good at your spot that they don't move you off of there.
And it's another thing too, Mike, to understand. He's not stuck behind Calvin Benjamin or somebody else. He's stuck behind,
Beasley, Diggs, and Sanders.
2 all-pros and a veteran. Like I'm not sitting here saying Gabe Davis is not going to be anything. I'm just saying it's not his time yet, and it may be. But right now, if there is a time this season, it'll be this game because that's why they like the depth and versatility, how deep this wide receiving core goes. Also, Mike, Isaiah McKenzie, we talked about how he's a versatile guy filling in for Cole Beasley. Had some ups and downs in the return game. Hasn't really been a huge point. Hasn't been a big part of the offense. If Beasley's seeing a little less time and they're protecting him, I wouldn't be surprised if Dable gets him in the action.
Yeah, we'll see how they get going. I think being on the road is going to be a good thing for this team.
I like that.
Playing at home, I do believe there are times you like to put on a show. You know, you're home with the home fans and you're thinking about how you should be playing. I think they come down here pretty focused, especially after getting pushed by the Dolphins last week.
I agree. We thought that the game against the Dolphins would be kind of that get-right game. It ended up being a survival game. They did cover. But I think this is another style of get right, do what you do best. Deion Dawkins said they didn't have that fire at the beginning.
Yeah.
I want to see that fire from the start. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I think that's what they'll need. Here, look, this is not a good team. The fans have sort of checked out on them. This is a time. Come in, own the place. It says it's our home. Is that what it says?
Something like that.
Something like
Scratch and
that.
claw.
Yeah, they're not scratching. They're not clawing.
Like
This is not a
like
good
cats.
football team. Yeah, not right now. So we'll see what happens. Dan will be down on the field in the sun, 65, right, is what they're saying?
Yeah, 65 and sunny.
Yeah.
Waiting for it.
All right. I got the press box manned. I'll be ready for that no matter what. I'll let you borrow my jacket if you need it. All right, remember, for all your coverage, make sure you check out the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and comment. For Jenna, who's back in Rochester, and
Beautiful
for Dan
Rochester.
Fates, I know, I'm Mike Catalana. Thanks for watching from here in Jacksonville, and we'll see you next time on Buffalo Plus.